Hello, everyone. It's Jazz. That's me. Thank you for tuning in today. Today is January 13th, 2021, and we have a lot to discuss. There have been many things going on, a lot of things that are scary if you come to think about it. Trying to silence people, trying to basically, freedom of speech is under attack, and people are being punished for actually supporting Trump and their views of the Republican Party. There are many things that I found yesterday that were very disgusting in the news that I was just saddened by everything that I saw. So let's get into it. There's many things that we need to get into. So I'm about to share my screen. First thing I wanted to get into today was actually, first thing I wanted to get into today was I'm not sure if you guys saw the I'm not sure if you guys saw the news about Senator Cruz and Josh Hawley being on the no-fly list. So let's get into that first.
GOP Senators Ted Cruz and Josh Hawley could be put on the no-fly list. Not just any Democrat at that. Homeland Security Committee Chairman Benny Thompson is saying their objection to the Electoral College results helped to incite the riot at the U.S. Capitol last Wednesday. Take a listen to Chairman Thompson.
There's no exemption for being put on the no-fly list. Even a member of Congress that commits a crime, they expel from the body. There are ethics charges that can be brought against those individuals. And people are looking at all this. What Hawley did and what Cruz did was horrible.
So let's not skirt the issue. He does go on to say, Kennedy, that he believes both senators, Hawley and Cruz, qualify as domestic terrorists.
Wow. That is quite a statement, and that is something that you have to absolutely prove. You can say that what they did was horrible. I think it would be a stretch to say that it was a crime, and you also have to prove intent here, and you don't want to diminish the word terrorist. I think that's very, very important. You can vociferously disagree with their actions. You can say that it was ham-handed and completely politically driven, and it was a horrible miscalculation. I still think that there's a big, big gulf between that and crowning someone a terrorist.
Leslie, what say you?
I actually agree with Kennedy on that, to say somebody is a terrorist. But I do believe that both of these individuals violated their constitutional oath. They did not defend us from all enemies, foreign and domestic. And their rhetoric, fanning the flames of a lie regarding this election, did help fan the flames. Bottom line here, it's not Congress, but the FBI who determines who is or is not on a no-fly list that TSA then enforces. And we do know, and we should know, that every elected individual, even the president, is not above the law when it comes to that. But regarding calling them terrorist, that is not what I would call them. But I would say that the rhetoric did incite and helped to incite what we saw on January 6th.
All right, Joe, you got 10 seconds.
All right. 2005, 31 House Democrats, Senator Barbara Boxer did exactly what Hawley and Cruz did. Lists are a bad idea in general. This is obviously an overreach, exploiting, again, the siege at the Capitol, which was, by all accounts, horrific.
Molly, 10 seconds.
No, but that's just, this is not what a free and fair country does. This type of attempt to silence all political opposition is just dangerous. And adults in DC need to start acting like adults, and people need to start pushing back against this type of escalation that's happening on the Hill.
Okay, so what do you guys think about that? I think that she was the last young lady was actually correct. I think this is very dangerous. I think it's uncalled for. I think that The people that did this was they have no excuse for doing this. That's not what that's not how you get things to change. You don't use violence to change things. Point blank. Point blank. I'm saying what happened at the Capitol wasn't right. And I said it even as I was watching it. I was like, oh my God, please pray for these people because I don't think this is okay. That regardless of what side you're on, you should not be doing stuff like this. But I do believe that the people that did it should be held accountable, but you shouldn't be blaming it on other people. Nobody told you to do this. These were grown adults. They did what they did because they wanted to do this, not because somebody told them to. They wanted to do this to basically start trouble. You know what I'm saying? This is not something that we all stood for. And I think this is sad. I'm watching this all play out on the news and everything that's happening to certain people. And I'm just kind of like, this is insane. So, Dan Crenshaw. I liked actually what Dan Crenshaw was saying. He had, he made points of, basically stating that people shouldn't be held accountable. People are grown. They know what's right and wrong, and basically like he thinks that this is crazy. Like we're under attack. Freedom of speech is under attack, guys. Like all I'm saying is that from now on, just everybody be careful of what you say and what you do, because obviously this is not getting any better anytime soon. So let's see what Dan Crenshaw had to say.
So we want to bring this to you now as Republican senators who objected to the Electoral College count now face a fury of some on the left who are making a dramatic leap, linking them to violence. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez tweeted this, quote, "Senator Cruz, you must accept responsibility for how your craven, self-serving actions contributed to the deaths of 4 people yesterday and how you fundraised off this riot. Both you and Senator Hawley must resign. If you do not, the Senate should move for your expulsion," she says. Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw of Texas joins me now. Congressman, always good to have you with us. Thanks for being here tonight. So that's just one. I mean, you've got Joaquin Castro, Beto O'Rourke, Representative Joe Moody, Tellerico, all of these government officials making very similar statements, calling them seditionists and saying there's blood on their hands, essentially.
Yeah, let me be as clear as possible here. So Senator Cruz and Hawley, I disagree with them in a fundamental way about the constitutionality of this process on January 6th, the ability of Congress to overturn any electoral votes, period. But let's be very honest. Senator Cruz and Senator Hawley were not hyping up January 6th. They were not calling for people.
You heard that, right? They were not hyping up January 6th. They were not hyping up people. And I agree. They were not hyping up people at all.
To fight in the streets. They were not saying this was our last stand. That being said, many members of Congress did do that. Many commentators did do that. Many in the media have been doing that for the last few weeks, constantly saying this is our time to fight. And let me tell you something very clearly. They've been lying to people. They've been lying to millions. They've been lying that January 6th was going to be this big solution for election integrity. It never was going to be. I mean, 2 hours of debate, forced 2 hours of debate, that was just some time for some opportunistic politicians to get 5 minutes of time on the floor. It was.
And what he's saying right now, I agree with. They got everybody hyped that things were going to change on the 6th, or that, Pence was not going to accept the votes or the counting of the votes and reject everything. And that's what the media put out there. And, it was a complete lie, and at this basically seems like you wasted a lot of Americans' time. And what happened at the Capitol shouldn't have happened if you guys knew that nothing was going to change. People need to accept responsibility on both sides. Point blank.
Never going to solve anything, and it was always unconstitutional. You have to have these hard battles won at the state level. That's where the hard work is done. That's how you solve the important question of election integrity. And they lied to people and they said, go fight. Go fight because everything's on the line. That's what they said. And when people fought, they came to fight, and then they fought Capitol Police, and now people are dead. And those same members of Congress who called people to fight, well, they were nowhere to be found because it was all fun and games to them. They never knew what a real fight was. Real fights are scary. Bullets flying, that's scary. the glass breaking, that's really scary. They were nowhere to be found. They scattered. They'd been talking about the courage to stand up to this, the courage to fight for weeks and weeks. But when it came down to it, there was no courage. That's what really happened, Martha. And that's what people need to know. They were lied to. They were lied to about what January 6th was. Election integrity is important. It has been important to me since the day I entered Congress. But I know that I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you where we actually have to do the hard work. And we have to change these laws at the state level because these laws are loose. They don't give people any confidence. People are getting ballots that don't belong to them. There's no voter ID, no signature verification. We hear you. We hear you, but we have to come together and work at the state level and change these things.
I don't think it could be said any better than that. Congressman Crenshaw, thank you very much. I think we need a lot of that honesty and straightforwardness right now in order to heal the country. And I thank you for being here tonight. I can hear the emotion in your voice, and I hear you. That's all I can say. Thank you very much, Congressman. Good to have you here tonight.
Thank you, Martha.
Exactly. It just, a lot of things need to change, and it needs to change at the state level. And he's right. And I think that a lot of the American people were lied to, and they put hope in the people that actually had doubts that this election was fraudulent. And it's not fair to dismiss all those people. That's my opinion. And I'm not inciting violence. That's not what I'm saying either. I'm just saying that people have the right to fight for what they believe in, but not in this form, but in other forms. Let's move right along to Project Veritas. Now, I don't know how many of you are aware of Project Veritas, but this man is no joke. I love him, to be honest. I think he's pretty awesome. Like, he is no joke. I'm not going to put the volume on this because I don't want to be copyrighted. I don't want to be striked, but I'm going to read it to you. It says, even if Biden wins, we go Republican. We go for all the Republican voters, and Homeland Security will take their children away. This is what the guy from PBS said. And we'll put the Trump supporters' children into re-education camps. In these times, which are unique, I mean, Trump is close to Hitler. This is what this man is saying. He works for PBS. Okay. What are you going to do if Biden wins? Go to the White House and throw Molotov cocktails? This guy was literally saying this. Michael Beller, PBS principal counselor. PBS is funded in part by U.S. tax dollars. Kids who are growing up knowing nothing but Trump for 4 years, you got to wonder what the Trump supporters being raised as a generation intolerant, horrible kids, horrible people and horrible kids. This is the guy that works for PBS, okay? Michael Bell is a PBS principal counselor, a senior player at the organization. His extreme radicalism is troubling, to say the least, okay? Oh, sorry. I don't want to put the volume on that. Enlightenment camps, right. They're re-education camps. Nice. They have Sesame Street characters in the classroom, like, if that matters. And the children watch PBS all day. Americans are so effing dumb. Most people are dumb. It's good to live in a place, DC, where people are educated and know stuff. Could you imagine if you lived in one of these other towns or states where everybody are just stupid? Check this out, guys. What grade is it that COVID is spiking on all the red states right now? So that's great. What do you think? Because either those people won't come out to vote for Trump, the red states, or a lot of them, Trump supporters, are sick and dying. PBS has like real news, but CNN doesn't have real news anymore. It's just talking heads talking about Trump all day long. I can't stand it. I mean, every once in a while, I'll look at Fox News and it makes me want to throw up after 5 minutes. It's Fox News, all this Joe Biden shit now. Joe Biden, I can't stand it. It's all made up. It's all ridiculous. And Fox are pushing that so hard, it's unbelievable. So do you guys just ignore it? Yeah. So this man was fired yesterday. There was an update. He was fired after 2 hours after this Project Veritas actually released this video, which I think is great on James O'Keefe and his crew. I commend you guys. You guys are amazing. Keep getting the stories out there. Keep investigating. I hope to be like you guys one day and be something or even contribute to what you guys do. So, in that being said, this man from PBS, the PBS Principal Counsel, Michael Beller, incites political violence and radical left-wing agenda. Go to the White House and throw Molotov cocktails is what he said. Even if Biden wins, go for all the Republican voters. Homeland Security will take their children away. Regardless of what side you are on, for you to want to take somebody's children away because of what they stand for, what they believe, that is scary on all levels. And everybody that's a parent should understand that. Not even if you're a parent, if you're an aunt, you're an uncle, if you have family members, if you have a sister, for someone to want to take children away and re-educate them to think to the way that they want to think is beyond what from it's beyond scary, and it's beyond what America's supposed to stand for. So just keep that in mind. Now, I wanted to get into this. Yesterday, this was posted by my little buddy, and I want you guys to hear this because this lady went off on Chuck Schumer. Okay? She went off. There's two videos. This was only 14 seconds, but I'm going to show you the second one, and you're going to be like, wow. She was in his face saying all these things, and I want to know what you guys think about this afterwards, okay? Let's get into it.
Unanimous consent
you need to get out of
for
office
every now, senator to call back the
You're
office.
nothing but a racist. I'm glad what the Trump protesters. Take your hands off me. No, you don't need to talk to me. I'm talking to this racist anti-Semite.
Unanimous consent
You need to get out of
for
office
every
now, you
senator to
racist.
call back the
You're
office.
nothing but a racist. I'm glad what the Trump protesters. Take your hands off me. No, you don't need to talk to me. I'm talking to this racist anti-Semite.
Okay, so she heard her. She was like, you need to be out of office, you racist anti-Semite. So basically, she's inciting it. She's saying that what the Trump supporters did was good. I don't agree with that, but that everybody should be allowed to have their own opinion. Now, the second video is pretty long. Not pretty long. It's like about 2 minutes. And she keeps going. Her rant keeps going. And she tells him everything that she wants to say to him. So let's put the volume up so you guys can hear what this woman said to him. Here we go.
I am glad I didn't think that the Trumpsters had it in them. I didn't think the conservatives did. But you know what? You racist socialists can dish it out, but you can't take it. And remember this, Adolf Hitler was a socialist. And that's exactly who you follow. You're nothing but a coward. Seeing you hide underneath your desk, I actually got sexually excited over it. That's how much I loathe you.
Whoa. Whoa. She's crazy.
That's how much I'm glad what they did. And like Nancy Pelosi said, people do what they do. After all, she doesn't care about monuments, and neither do I. And where in the First Amendment does it say that you have to protest peacefully and politely? As long as there's outrage and unrest in our hearts, there's going to be unrest in these streets. I don't give a shit whether you believe me. You're nothing but a cracker. That's all you are, is a racist cracker. You can dish it out. Look, you've got protection. Why don't you tell them to stand down, hypocrite? Did you tell the Capitol Police to stand down? Did you tell them to stand down?
Now, listen, she's asking him because a lot of people are saying this as well. It's rumored to say that they were, FBI warned them, and I don't know what happened. I'm hearing both sides basically that they were warned about what was going to happen at the Capitol. Now, I just want to point out one more thing. During the BLM movements and all the protests that went on in my city, and I live in a small city, okay? In my city, they barricaded the police department. And when these protests started, they had plenty of cops out there guarding the police station. Now, this is just in a small city. If you were warned by the FBI, why didn't you guys take it seriously? There was going to be many millions of people out there that day. There should have been more security. There should have been more police. Okay. Now, check out his face as she's saying this. He gets a little angrier. His face turns up. His nostrils start flaring. Puts his head down. Watch it.
Answer the question. No, stand down. She told the police to stand down in Kenosha, Seattle, Portland, Chicago, Boston, New York, Los Angeles, and San Francisco. And you know what? These Trump supporters are going to go to your house. Yep. They're going to go to Pelosi's house. They'll destroy her vineyards. And I will be right there to support them. Don't you say it's enough. No, shut up. Shut up.
She's not playing games. Shut up. Sorry, I don't mean to laugh at this, but she's on it. I don't know. It's crazy. I don't know. That she has every right to feel the way she does. She told him Seattle, Portland, Boston. Like, she said it. These things, why is everything not being compared to what happened then? Like, that was more serious. Like, things were getting burnt up. Not saying that this is not serious. The Capitol, what happened at the Capitol was wrong. That shouldn't have happened. But why aren't they shedding any light to what happened during the summertime? What does everybody have amnesia? Are people forgetting? I just don't understand. This lady was courageous and she got in his face. Okay. And this is a white woman getting in his face. And she's saying that she didn't think that the Trumpsters had it in them, because that's not what they stand for. This woman even says it. It's not what they stand for. So the people that I believe that did that were some other groups. And we all know what groups we're talking about. Okay. So moving right along. Now, to refresh everybody's memory, since everybody forgets, I have what they were saying at the time of those riots. I have the video. I have it right here. As you can see, things are on fire in the background. Just pay attention to what people are saying and how they're saying it's mostly peaceful. Kidding me? Things are on fire in the background, but things are peaceful? Sure. Okay. Let's get into it.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest. It is not...
mostly a protest, but you see fire in the background. Okay.
It is not, generally speaking, unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis.
They are strictly principled anti-fascists, and they've taken a principled stand to stand against white supremacists and white nationalists wherever they may show up.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
But thank goodness for the looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I don't care that much about statutes.
Shouldn't that be done by shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
You're seeing behind me is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Do not get it twisted and think that, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Most of the major movements in American history have started at the grassroots level and at some point have turned into direct conflict with American government. So remember your history before you judge your present.
Thuggishness is thuggishness wherever it comes from politically, and we should be the first to call it out.
I disagree.
So just like Cuomo said, remember your history. This just happened a few months ago. We've seen this happen. The hypocrisy I can't even talk today. The hypocrisy is amazing to me. It's just amazing. Okay. Now, let's just watch that again. I want to play that one more time for people. One more time.
I want to be clear in how I characterize this. This is mostly a protest.
And why did he want to be clear on how he characterized this? Let's just come on, guys. Seriously, you wanted to be clear on how you characterize something that was burning in the background, that was mostly peaceful. Seriously, sure.
It is not generally speaking unruly.
That ain't a riot, what we're seeing right now in Minneapolis.
They are strictly principled anti-fascists, and they've taken a principled stand to stand against white supremacists and white nationalists wherever they may show up.
I argue to you tonight, all punches are not equal morally.
It says it right in the name, Antifa, anti-fascism, which is what they were there fighting. Listen, there's no organization is perfect. There was some violence.
Any reasonable person would say we shouldn't be destroying other people's property, but these are not reasonable times.
But thank goodness for the.
Now, Don Lemon just said no organization is perfect. There is some violence. So if you're calling Trump supporters an organization or a terrorist organization, you're basically out of the, I don't know how many were involved in that situation, but there's supposedly 75 million and counting people that voted for Trump, and you're characterizing every one of them as terrorists. How is that fair? But you just said that most organizations have violence, they're not perfect. Come on, Don, really? The hypocrisy, guys, the hypocrisy.
The looters, man.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
I don't care that much about statutes.
Shouldn't that be done by a commission or the city council, not a mob in the middle of the night throwing it into the harbor?
People will do what they do.
You're seeing behind.
People will do what they do. People will do what they do. Okay.
Is one of multiple locations that have been burning in Kenosha, Wisconsin.
Do not get
burning, guys, burning. burning. I don't understand how you could say that that's okay, or it's peaceful, or that it's all right. It's mostly peaceful. This just doesn't make sense.
Get it twisted and think that, this is something that has never happened before, and then this is so terrible, and where are we, and these savages and all of that. This is how this country was started.
People get mad and people get sick of it. People are risking COVID to explain to this country that we're fed up.
Most of the major movements in American history have started at the grassroots level and at some point have turned into direct conflict with American government. So remember your history before you judge your present.
Thuggishness is thuggishness wherever it comes from politically, and we should be the first to call it out.
I disagree.
Here we go. Just wanted to point that out to you guys because it's getting out of hand. Getting out of hand. Now, I just wanted to talk about Parler and the update on Parler that we got. Unfortunately, Parler was taken down once everybody was trying to switch over from Twitter to Parler. And this is the update that we have.
All right, joining us now, Parler Chief Policy Officer Amy Peikoff is with us. Amy, thank you for being with us. I think it's very important to establish here that Parler has standards. There are things that you will not allow people to post that are dangerous, for example. Can you tell us what some of them are?
Well, certainly. So in our guidelines, we say that we will not knowingly allow people to use our platform as a tool to commit crimes. And moreover, the type of content that you were playing for your audience earlier in this show, all of these incitements to violence or glorification of violence are things that we expressly prohibit in our community guidelines. And why do we do that? It's because it is against our mission. Our mission is to provide a platform that fosters and allows the type of productive discussions that you were talking about in your last segment, where you have people of differing viewpoints who actually put them to the test by engaging in discussion with each other. That has always been our goal. And if you've got a lot of incitement to violence and threats and everything in there, that stops all discussion. It stops thinking, which is the basis of productive discussion. So of course we don't want that on our platform.
Now, when these big tech companies prevent, Apple won't allow people to download your app, for example, or Amazon or Google or all these companies now. What is the impact? In other words, Parler is now down. You guys, for temporarily, and it's temporary, I understand it, are out of business. Now, is there the technology available that you can bypass the App Store and all these other platforms, big tech giants, and then still provide for people a true form for, look, I'm sure if I look through Parler, there's people that hate my guts. There's people all over Twitter that hate my guts. I've read it, I've seen it. I don't want to live in a country where people can't say it. You know, I'd rather attack me all you want. Actually, some of the memes are pretty darn funny. Make me laugh. I hate to admit it, they're funny. And but I prefer freedom.
Yes, yes. And, you know, there is a difference, of course, between so-called hate speech that would otherwise be protected by the First Amendment and speech that incites violence or threatens, which is not protected by the First Amendment. So, of course, we want to remove it. And so we agree with Apple and Amazon that it is desirable to remove it. What we disagreed about was whether the first resort, and especially it wouldn't be any resort for us in a normal situation, would be to subject people to 24/7 surveillance, to doing all of the data mining that the other platforms do. That was not part of our monetization model. We think surveillance is contrary to the spirit of the Fourth Amendment. If you have particularized suspicion about somebody, that's when you surveil. That's when you get information about them, have a search warrant, et cetera. So on Parler, our disagreement was that we did not want to put in an algorithm that would subject everybody on the entire platform to 24/7 surveillance. We wanted to handle this content in a way that respected the privacy of people. And that's where we're disagreeing now. The tech giants want their model to be the standard for the entire internet. And to us, we think that takes Orwell's 1984 from a dystopian novel and turns it into an instruction manual for everybody to follow.
So you'll be able to bypass it. Will it be as easy, or does it create a great challenge for you to have people available to go to Parler, or does it really prevent Parler from breaking out to the extent they can? And quickly, how do you see this lawsuit coming down?
Well, I can't comment, of course, on the lawsuit, but as to what we've been doing is, getting ourselves back online, we found very quickly that when Apple and Amazon both decided on Friday afternoon to announce that they were very imminently going to leave us, that left us in the lurch, but it also caused other vendors that provided different aspects of the infrastructure to also abandon us. And so we've had to put pieces of this puzzle back together again. We're working very, consistently to do that, and we think we're going to be able to do it soon. But it is a struggle, and it's pretty amazing these days how difficult it can be to try to compete in this market. We do think that this content was everywhere on the internet. You talked about Twitter earlier, the hang Mike Pence and everything. It's ironic, Amazon hosts Twitter as well. And so we figure, why is it that the content that's on our platform is the problem when there's probably more of it even on their platform proportionally because of the scale?
Amy, thank you.
What do you guys think? Do you think it's fair that they're being censored? I don't think it's fair that Parler is actually trying to give us free speech and it's just not happening. This is a trying time, guys. It's crazy for America right now. I just want all my subscribers and anybody that watches this to be safe and to be careful and not to incite any violence. Try to stick to yourself and try to stay away from all the BS that's going on. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think about the hypocrisy that I showed, about Project Veritas about Senator Cruz and Senator Josh Hawley being on the no-fly list. Do you think that it's even necessary? Just 2 or 3 days before this all happened, there were protests at Senator Hawley's house. Was that context blown out of proportion? Was anybody considering that situation, that they actually showed up to his house? Could have put his wife and newborn child in danger? Nobody's thinking about that. Why wasn't the whole situation of Nancy's house being vandalized and the severed pig being left in front of her garage, why wasn't that talked about a little more? Guys, like, this is crazy. Like, they showed up to Nancy's house a few days before, Josh Hawley's house a few days before. Like, this is getting out of hand. And I want to know what you guys think. Please like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think. This Project Veritas thing is out of control. Sending Trump supporters' kids to re-education camps? Do you guys agree with that? I don't agree. Even if Trump's what if Trump were to have said that, or anybody that supports Trump were to be like, let's put the Joe Biden supporter children into re-education camps? That wouldn't fly, guys. And it's not okay. Let me know what you guys think. Thank you for watching.